is November 18th. I'm gonna give this 3 days. Wait, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday. I don't really want to post on Sunday, but I'm hearing 3 days. Like, give me 3 days to post it. So I'll think about it when exactly. Maybe I'll post it Sunday because I feel like that's what I heard. Basically, yeah, so as you know from the title, I'm doing Young Dolph. I want to tell you, like I do with some of these other videos, how I came to do this video so that you hear everything that's involved as far as what I'm personally aware of, and we'll kind of just go from there, right? So I saw headlines of rappers on Twitter, and I don't know if Young Dolph was part of that or not, or that was something completely separate, but I just was like, oh, it seemed like something was wrong. I thought someone had been murdered, but honestly, like, it was just a feeling I got. There wasn't anything, it was just a bunch of rappers. So I don't know why I got that feeling, and maybe it was a premonition, maybe not. And then however long later, it might have even been the next day, I saw that they said that Young Dolph was murdered. He was shot leaving a bakery or showing up to a bakery, something like that, picking up cookies. And I don't know him. I don't know his music. I recognize his name because he's probably produced or sang or rapped a lot of songs. So he's famous, you know, like his name's famous enough that I picked up on it. For someone who doesn't listen to music, I'm not saying that the other people aren't famous, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. Who cares? So immediately when I saw that, I got an image of him, and then I got an image of his wife or girlfriend or fiance. I don't know his relation to her. I know that they have 2 kids together, but before that I saw pink. It was like pink confetti, like an explosion of pink confetti, and a baby girl, and an emphasis on his baby girl, and that he was very sorry and upset that he wouldn't be there for his daughter's birthday. It was really important to him. His daughter's birthday. And then I was pulled towards a boy, and it did feel like this boy was a little bit older, and it was an emphasis around cars. So I don't know, I wasn't sure what I was getting with that, other than maybe he would have talked about wanting to drive cars with his son one day, or like he had this idea that him and his son would have similar cars or interest in cars, or it's like this emphasis on having things, but it's car related. So it's like having things that have to do with cars that he either didn't have or he wanted to share with him, because I don't know his background. There's this feeling of generational wealth. I don't know where he came from, or if he comes from like a wealthy family, but it feels like he was either wanting to create general wealth, or he came from that, because it's an emphasis on passing things down to his children. Now, those are the 2 that I picked up on, and I stopped there. And I didn't even really, it was more of like intrusive vision than anything. And then I looked it up because I'm thinking, like, I mean, you guys, like, I don't think that I know everything. Sometimes I like to pretend that I do. But I doubt myself often, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm just making things up, you know? I don't know. So I looked it up. He looks like who I thought he looked like. The girl looks like who I thought. And he does have a daughter and a son. So I was like, I must be onto something. I'm like, well, what really went on? Like, what was the issue? And before I could really get to that, he was panicked. His soul was feeling panicked at the time, and it was pointing me towards the woman in his life. I'll say it's his wife. His wife and his kids. It's like his wife and kids, like they're in danger. Like he's like freaking out that they're in danger. I don't know if that's the reality of things, because he feels more settled today than he did at that moment, because I feel like immediately when his soul left his body, he was in shock. And I'm getting this feeling like shaking, like that, like almost like seizures. And I don't know how that factors into this whole reading. I'm not saying, and I don't mean that in a morbid way, like he was having seizures at the time of his death. I don't see that. It's something else, but I don't know how that factors in. But I did want to mention that because that was brought to my awareness before I'm doing this reading. So I wanted to let you guys know, obviously, everything, like I said. So, yeah. The soul, like when he left his body, there's a lot of confusion. Like, what just happened? Like, why did, like, shock, just kind of like, what happened? And then feeling this fear, and it's a more humanistic fear, right? Like if he was still here, because he still had a lot of emotional ties here, obviously, but it was like feeling more of a human than of a soul. And he's like, because what happened to him, he feels this need to protect his family. He feels like what happened to him could happen. So it was a protective, like he was feeling very protective. And like this strong message, like you need to go and like put this information out there, or like warn them, like someone needs to go help them. They need to get out of the house. They need to go. He really wanted them to go. Again, I don't know the actual reality in that, or if that was more just him panicking. And you might be wondering like where I'm going with this reading. I'm not 100% sure. But I've been thinking about it since then, and I feel like I've been consulting him on the other side very slightly, like not intrusively, like just almost like softly. That's probably the word I'm trying to look like, kind of like softly getting onto his energy, like, is this okay to do? Because there's many good lessons in talking about this. It kind of gives you the process of the soul as they pass. Every person's different, and so you kind of have to just feel for yourself how that applies. But it also kind of gives you insight on what happened with a particular person, potentially, because I could be incorrect about some things, or I'm incorrect. The information's not incorrect. I'm just misinterpreting it. And then also, you know, especially if like whoever this murderer is, or people who have done similar things, or whatever's going on, like if they end up watching this video, this kind of gives you a different insight onto what actually you did, which is you messed up. Obviously on like a human level, but even on a spiritual level, you really messed up, because the soul never dies. The soul is forever here. It is forever, you know, it's like a lava lamp, you know, of all the souls. Like, we don't ever escape the lava lamp. So anyway, back to what happened. So I forgot where I was at. So I looked him up online. I saw that. I don't know. Okay, let's just get into it. So I eventually I saw someone online that was, because I was like, today, so that was the other day. So today I'm like, what's really going on here? Oh, okay, hold on. I forgot to tell you something. So yesterday, I'm like, what was going on? And I could see a drive-by, which I don't know if that was mentioned yesterday at the time. If it did, I did not read that. But I did see a drive-by, and I saw a person, okay? I don't know if this is the person who did it. I don't know how they're associated. This could be someone that he's related to, like it could be a cousin or his wife's cousin or something that he feels emotionally connected to, right? I saw a guy, he has a rounder face, like it's like wide. I don't think that he's like a bigger guy, but I'm not really sure. It's just like, you know how some people just have round faces? It's like short and wide. And it's like that. And then he has twists in his hair, like maybe that long off his head. Let me see. I'm putting it up to my head. Probably like that long. That long. Yeah, like a card, like a deck of cards, like that long off of his head. That is somehow related to all of this. And that's who I saw. And then I'm like, why did this happen? And this guy, like, I got this scenario, okay? This is just a scenario I got, so could not be the reality. I don't know. So the scenario is this guy, is it the same guy? Oh. Okay. There's like a group of guys. I'm asking, because when I said, I'm like, are there women around? I'm like, I can't tell. If there's women, then it's like masculine women, or like women that are like part of the guys. It's not really girly girl. Like if they are, then they're really rough around the edges. I don't know if there's girls around, where are they? It's all over the place. Like, I feel like they are talking about this a lot. And they're talking about it in different places. Outside houses, like by cars. Like if they're like standing by their cars and they're talking. They're outside of a house. They're inside of a house. It's just like, it feels extensive. It's been going on a while. And I'm like, what's this? Like, when I said like they're talking about this, I'm like, what is this? I don't know. There's something to do with young Dolph, but something else. So it's not necessarily, it's him, but then it's like fragmented, like him, then something else that he's maybe involved in. And then something else. It's like if they're talking about the middleman, like it's like, here's the middleman, here's young Dolph, here's them, and they're talking about this that's more so tied with him. Whatever that means, okay? They're talking about all that. And then it feels more of envy or jealousy or anger, like the person, because it feels like one person, but that, not to say that there's not any more people, I don't know who, okay, but the person who pulled the trigger, right, because obviously someone did, it feels hatred towards young Dolph. It feels personal. It doesn't feel like even if there was a hit out on him, it feels more like they have a personal vendetta. So it's like, well, I really do not like them. I'm going to do it because I want to do it. Like, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for notoriety. Because it doesn't actually feel like money, if I'm honest with you guys. It feels more of just like oh, we just got to get rid of him. Like that. It has nothing to do, I'm not saying that this is true or not, but that's how it feels to me. I might just not be picking up on it. So it's like, it just feels like disgust. And it's not, like, it's obviously not real, because when I pick up on young Dolph, he feels like his energy, he just feels like really nice. He feels really nice, like just a nice guy. I don't know, like I don't know how else to put it. Just like interesting. He just feels like an interesting guy, and he's nice, and like he's the kind of person, he would say things that would be kind of like surprising, like you wouldn't expect. I don't know, it'd be like, I never thought of that. Like, that's so interesting that you even, like, how did your mind work that way? Like, how did it process to get to that point for you to even say that? Like, you know, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, what goes on in your mind? Like, he just feels really like, there's probably a lot of people that envy him. And would want to just intentionally cause harm because they don't like him for being how, I don't know, it feels like he's just somehow, or really, not somehow, but it's like he's just a really great guy, and people don't like that. It's like they don't want to see you do good. It's very Again, don't know the reality of it. That's what I'm picking up. There could be other contributing factors in here. And I also want to point out, for those of you who, maybe there's new people, there's definitely probably new people here. Like, what is she doing? When I pick up on people's souls, and even like whenever I do like the other readings where I'm like just pulling what the guardian angels want me to see, I really do see the lighter side of people. Sometimes I'll see the darker aspects, but you know, obviously, like, people are complex. I could pick out the most beautiful aspects of you. So just because there might be darker aspects in another person that I'm not necessarily talking about or attributing doesn't mean that that didn't exist. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the wonderful parts of them didn't exist either. You know what I mean? Just a disclaimer. I don't know why, but I felt like. Anyway. Yeah, it just feels like a bunch of devoid people, emotionally devoid people. It's like a section. It's an energetic section of whatever is going on here. It feels like it's a massive group of people. Like, it would be a gang. Like, that's what I would attribute it to. But the hit would not be, oh, okay, we'll give you money or whatever. It's like a hit out because he's a high value. Like, that would bring this other person into higher rank. But the guy doesn't, honestly, like, he doesn't care about higher rank more than he cares more about young Dolph than he cares about his reputation being, you know, risen in that. That's just a big bonus, is kind of how it feels. But there's a warning, like, okay, so if that person would hear this message, like if they were looking up, oh, what are people saying? Oh, whatever. There's a warning, because I see this person. It's like this person has a family, or it's like, it feels distant. So it's like if this guy has it wouldn't be a wife, it would be like an ex-girlfriend or just whoever, and kids, because it feels like they don't have any relationship. They're like not on speaking terms, or they're on bad terms, that there's something there that's gonna happen. as a repercussion from this. It's an energetic repercussion. It's karma, but it's karma being presented in a very big way in this person's life, in this lifetime, where it's going to make them feel really, really bad. Whatever's going to happen is going to make them feel really, really bad. I don't feel like anything's going to happen. It's like almost as if this person receives enlightenment because of what he did. And then the people that he had a family with, like his family, aren't going to recognize that. And are just going to perpetuate this dark lifestyle. Because I don't feel like they're not very healthy people, you know, like emotionally healthy people. They're not well balanced people. And it's like this person's gonna be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like he's gonna feel guilt somehow. Like I think he's gonna have some sort of spiritual awakening. Like visions. He's gonna start getting visions or strong premonitions, which I need to talk about the wife and her premonitions, because I think she had a premonition about this. But it's like he's gonna become spiritually enlightened somehow, and it's gonna pain him to some great capacity about how those people are not. It's like, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I want to say this. It would be as if he was looking at his girl, and he's like, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever, and he's like, the mother of his kids, I really want you to know that I've found the light. I found out like what we've been doing, what's going on, everything. Like, this isn't right. Like, we need to change our, let's do something. Like, give me another chance. Like, I'm changed. How you're treating them, how you're treating yourself, this is not right. We need to just do something about it. And her being like, you know what? Talk to me again, bother me again, and things are going to happen to your kids that you don't want to see, and things are going to happen to you that you don't want to see. So I suggest you just get out of here. Like, it would be something like that. And he would be like, wow, I could have done something about this in the past, and I am now too late because I created this situation, and now the only way out is for me to abandon everything. And I don't want to do that because so that's what's happening there. The wife, we're back to young Dolph. The wife had a premonition of this. She started feeling paranoid. Like, something's gonna happen. I don't feel right. Someone's looking at me the wrong way. I went to the store and it looked like someone drove by really slow, and they looked at me and they asked me some question, and it just did not feel right. There were just things that were not adding up. And I think young Dolph was trying to suppress those fears. Everything's gonna be fine. If you're worried, here's, pepper spray, or here's a gun, like, you know how to use it, protect yourself, I think you're doing great, be aware, call me, stuff like that. It's like he's not neglecting or negating anything that she's saying, but he wants to reassure her that she's fully capable of taking care of herself, and he's gonna back her up if anything happens that he needs to intervene. And I'm also being aware of my surroundings, so don't stress. And so obviously this blindsided him. I don't think that they really expected it, but she's like, I knew it. I knew something wasn't right. but what could I have done? Like, how was this avoidable? I don't feel the circumstances really could have been avoided. I don't. I think that they did everything that they possibly could. There should not be any regrets about anything with regards to leading up to this or anything. And so when we talk about young Dolph and him crossing over in that state of confusion and panic towards her, at that time, I also feel there were entities, darker entities, that were trying to infiltrate as well into what I was picking up on. Because for me, as a person, I also am very protective of women. That's like one of my biggest it's not a weakness, but like when it comes to spirituality, that's a way that entities can kind of play off of, right? Because it's more acting out of not instinct, but impulsivity than anything. Like if I feel like someone's being slighted, or if I feel like I see a female or something, like some sort of imbalance of power there, like I will step in. That's where my aggressive part comes out. And so there was this feeling of like these entities trying to pose as young Dolph in order to put out some sort of fear and warning, even more amplified of what he really felt. And that's why I'm like, I don't think it's true, but I'm not 100% sure. But the point of it, that what really settles everything, is that she shouldn't be fearful. Like, you should definitely be aware. You should trust your judgment. You should trust your intuition. Don't let fear override what your intuition is telling you. Don't let that blind you from the realities of what's going on, right? You knew during that time, you can feel that. You had that premonition. So don't dwell in that feeling. Don't sit in that feeling and then apply it elsewhere. Allow spirit to work through you. Allow God to come back into you and your angels to come back into you to bring more messages to you. Bring more messages of peace, of healing. And if there is any sort of warning that is going to come up or is coming up, that you will receive it in a way that's clear for you. Okay? In a way that's clear enough that it's undeniable what that intuition is telling you and what to do with that information. All right? And for him, where I see him now is, it's like, no, it's not chaotic like that. It's like the infinity loop. It's like a swirling. That's how it feels energetically. Swirling, swirling. And it's very lovely and peaceful. It's a transformation that's occurring on a soul level for him. And usually what I see, have I mentioned this before? I don't know if I mentioned this. And it's so, well, anyway, I won't derail. The soul takes a while, depending on who it is, on how they for the time that they fully transition over and understand what's happened and where to go from there, and kind of carry on completely from this life. But you know, that doesn't negate, like, if you're feeling like you can feel someone's presence, like that's also true. It might sound like I'm not making sense, but it's because I'm just glossing over it. But yeah. So anyway, for them to have a peaceful transition. And so now he's in that moment right now where he's fully transitioning over. And he's sitting with the reality that he has passed. And it's not shock. It's not fear or sadness like he felt before, of that regret or remorse of like, I'm sorry I'm not going to be there for her birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't do the things that I promised with her son. I'm sorry that I am not here to protect you and to hold you. Like, I feel like he's a very, like, a cuddly person, I guess. Like, I see an image of her head in his chest and him holding her head, and also him, like, cupping her chin, like, I'm using this plant again, like that, like cupping her chin. And he's, and it's, I don't know the word, it's not, it's like sensual, but in a cuddly, romantic, passionate, but not, like, it's a loving passion, a loving sensuality. There's a softness to him. Again, it's like it's a caress. It's a caress, and his soul is caressing her. So it's like he's gonna live in eternity with his family. I do see this image that he's trying to convey of, like, life. I want life to go on for you, and this emphasis on, like, the singing of the birds, like the warmth of the sun, just like being, it's kind of like the shock that you feel after something very traumatic for you happens, and you go outside and you have this awareness that the world is carrying on with their day as if nothing ever happened, because it didn't happen to them. You know, like, their lives has not been transformed the way that yours did. It hasn't changed the way that yours did. And then you can hear the birds, you can feel the sun, you can see the leaves blowing in the wind, and it's like everything just carries on with their day. You know, the sun comes out another day, the birds carry on another. This emphasis on birds, the birds chirping. Maybe he'll come through as birds, like as little messengers, right? They usher in. They're not actually the bird, but they're using nature to bring in spiritual messages. That's what they do. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I see, is like he will always communicate with the family, and this recognition that you will carry on, and like, I want you to carry on. I don't know if you will. It's kind of what he's saying, is like, don't know right now. But I want you to, and I want my kids to carry on, and I want you to always feel me, like this. He's very romantic. I guess that's the word I'm trying to look for, is he's romantic, but it feels like, it's like, when I think romantic, sometimes it coincides with passion, and it's not passion. It's just, it's so soft. It's a soft romance. And it's like, I'm trying to understand what he's saying. It's like he's saying, like, I have this vision of you living in a beautiful home with your kids, and they're all grown up, and it's okay if you move on, so maybe you have another guy, but he's better treat you right. Like, I want him to treat you right. I want him to give you that emotional support, and someone you can trust and you can rely on, can feel solid with and safe with. Safety is very important to him. And, you know, the kids are growing up, and they're happy and content, and you all can always feel my grace. You can feel my presence, and I am part of the family. I am always part of your family, but I want to speak life into your lives. I want to have you guys have this life where it's just normal, you know, like you see a cardinal flying by your window and stop and fluff up and tap on the window. And it's just like, oh, well, that's my dad, you know, and it's not really anything extraordinary because I'm always there for you. I'm always communicating with you. And yeah. There's probably a lot more that he could say and wants to say and will say, but I do feel like it's very intimate between him and his family, and if this message were to ever get to them, which I think she would already know this, but this would just be confirmation that you will always feel him. You're not wrong for that. I don't think that you would I don't think you would doubt yourself, but this is just like double confirmation that what you spiritually share with him is sacred, is real, and is forever. It's forever. And hope this helps you guys, because if you have anyone who's crossed over and you feel like you're trying to communicate with them, or you feel like you've gotten messages or feathers or synchronicities or anything like a little out of the ordinary that you thought might be significant, to just give it another thought, because maybe you were onto something with that. So maybe this is double confirmation for you as well. So that's it for now. Bye.